All right. Hi. I hope that it is finally loading and I hope you can actually see me. Let's have a test. I would like to have an audio check because this app is notorious for not broadcasting audio. So if you happen to chance on the video, can you please do me the honors and let me know how it's going? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Is everything going fine? I am attempting a high-tech transmission yet again. And that always brings us challenges. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It looks to me like my screen is not active, but I can see some of you here. It's really nice to see you. This is Transformations. Transformations is my mindset augmentation page. I am hoping that the work we do here enable all of us to change the way we do things, to change the way we think, to reset some of our behaviors and choices. And so today we are discussing financing, transforming finances with choices and behaviors. The fact that you are poor, this sounds very harsh, but it's really due to your choices. The fact that you work very hard, but you don't seem to hang on to any of the money is also down to your choices. The fact that you end up living from hand to mouth is also due to your choices. And it is actually those people I want to discuss today. The people who are working, so you cannot accuse them of not working. The people who work very hard, and it's obvious to anybody who watches them that they do work hard. The people who seem to be very successful on the surface, but behind the scenes are struggling. And it's actually due to choices we make. Due to choices we make because we think that it fosters a particular social standing. Due to choices we make because we think that we have no option than to go down that route. The fact that we make a lot of money, but we waste a lot of money on unnecessary things. That's what I really want to discuss today. So we are transforming financing, and we are transforming financing with choices. Choice number one is how gainfully employed you become. And that's a choice. Yes, it is a choice. It is a choice whether you become employed and have somebody pay you a salary, or that you start a job of your own and you become an employer. It's a choice that you get up in the morning and you go to work, or you decide to have a day off because you are self-employed. That's a choice. It is a choice that you sleep at 6 o'clock when other entrepreneurs probably carry on working till about 11. It is a choice whether you buy a car with your first salary or you invest that money. It is a choice whether you have a party or you hold off to instant gratification and enjoy later. That is also a choice. We have many choices to make. So I'll share some examples with you as I normally do as a case study. I was talking to a sister-in-law of mine yesterday, and both of us have started businesses, and both of us have chosen to continue working even whilst we have our businesses going. So I got talking to her yesterday, and she says, well, people don't understand. People always ask me why I still go to work when you have a business going. And I'm like, those people have absolutely no idea. Oh, Hima, good morning, good morning, good morning. Now I finally can see a name. If you are here and you can see me, can you wave? Can you do something so I know that the page is active? Because it's quite still and I have absolutely no idea what you can and cannot see. All right. I am discussing the choices we make. I am discussing the impacts of those choices. I am trying to debunk the fact that we blame other people and we blame other things for our problems. No, it is usually our choices. And I want us to get to that point where we own up to those choices we make, that we understand that what happens going forward is as a result of those choices. Today, I am just going to discipline myself and I'm going to restrict it to financing. In order to have an income, you need to make a choice of something to do. You can decide to be employed or you can decide to be self-employed. That is a choice you make. Whichever choice you make, you have consequences coming from that. If you choose to be employed, you work a fixed number of hours and you get remunerated for what you give. If you happen to give beyond what is expected, There is very little extra reward. That's how employment works. Simple. The person who invests their money ends up enjoying most of the return. You have chosen not to take the risk. You just have the security of working for somebody. That person remunerates you, and that's the end of the business. Simple. It is really nice when you are employed for somebody because your risks are very reduced. Your risks are minimal. What is more important is that you understand this, that you know the choices you are making and the implications of those choices, so that we don't hear you lamenting later once you've made the choice. I was talking to Minister, the young man who's here with me recently, and we're talking about being unemployed is a choice. I know it's difficult for a lot of people to come to this understanding, but it is a choice. It is a choice whether you decide to stay at home and lament and complain, or get up and go find something to do. There are now stories of the A1 bread guy who is a graduate. He is a graduate, understood how difficult it was going to be for him to find a job in the niche market. He had a skill, he had the knowledge, and he had the wisdom to actually go beyond what society will say and create employment for himself and other people around him. I am sure that I've seen a few times of that guy gifting out cars to some of his salespeople. That would suggest to me that that guy also has his own car or cars, as is typical in our environment. The other thing is to sit and to lament and to wait for the government and to complain and to moan and tell people who are elderly than you that they are not helpful, to blame them for your problems. That is typical. That's the typical black thing to do. But even that is a choice, and we have to realize that it's a choice we make. It is a choice to be gainfully employed. It might not be in something you like, but it is a choice whether you remain idle or you do something. I am distracted because I still can't see who is here on these platforms. My screen is frozen, so I can't see you. If you said anything or done anything, I haven't seen it, which is why I haven't responded. So you will have to forgive me. I will just explain, and when any questions come, any issues pop up, I will address it as is appropriate. When you have worked, whatever choices you made in your employment or becoming self-employed, whatever choice you made, once the money hits your account, you have even more choices to make. The choice to spend it instantly, the choice to delay your gratification, the choice to pretend not to have the money, or the choice to announce to the world that something, a few pennies have arrived in your account, the choice to live within your means, the choice to live above your means, the choice to perform to public acclaim, or the choice to be understated and mind your own business, the choice to live in the now, the choice to delay for the future, the choice to protect the future first, the choice to enjoy now. Now, this is an interesting concept for a lot of us because we simply don't understand this. So I want to break this up very, very quickly. In life, you have two episodes. You have the lean season and you have the period of enjoyment, period of gratification. You get to choose which one you have first, but the truth is, whatever you choose first is always short-lived. What you delay and what you wait for is the longer episode of your life. You have the period, the lean period, and the period of gratification. Timing these two episodes in your life on point is the difference between success and otherwise. Let me explain. There is a period where you sow. In that period, you sweat. There is a period where you make. In that period, you don't tend to see a lot of results. There is a period where you establish, and that is a tough phase. It might well be a period of studies. You will have to crack your brains. You will have to suffer some discomfort whilst you learn. That is your lean period. There is a period where you started working. Yes, you started seeing a salary, but no, you've not got to a point where you can start buying flash because you are still in the lean period. If you choose to have the lean period first and you establish in the lean period, you begin to see results after that one. And naturally, you get more money coming in. You would be able to make better choices for you financially. You would be able to display wealth because there's actually wealth to display because you chose the period of establishment first. If you are the person who chooses to have instant gratification first, let me use two people as an example. Two people have left school, high school at 18 or secondary school at 16 if you happen to be in England. At that point, you have two choices to make. You can continue in education or you can seek employment. And I usually have kids have this discussion with me because they tend to think it's a difficult choice, and I don't see how difficult this choice is. For me, there is only one option to take. One child decides to continue in education. That child is going to be broke for a while. Will still depend on parents, will not be independent instantly. That child may get some assistance from the government, but it will never be like somebody who's working full-time in McDonald's. The truth is, the choices of employment are quite limited. You either go to McDonald's, you go to Asda, you go to the sales route, you go to work in the low-paying end of things because your skills are minimalistic. At that point, when you look at your friends who've chosen to go and work, their lives seem so much better than yours. They seem to be doing much better financially because they are earning an income and you are not. You continue soldiering on and it's a period of suffering. In comparison to the person who's chosen to work at that time, they appear to be enjoying better than you are. And a lot of kids say that to me, Miss, have you seen this friend of mine? Oh my God, he can buy his own cinema tickets. He can go, he's even got himself a little car. Oh Lord, I have nothing. And I have to remind kids constantly that you are in a period of delayed gratification. And let me explain to you why your choices are better. How much does your friend in McDonald's earn? 12,000, 15,000. I can't remember what the minimum wage is, so let me make it up. Say 15,000 pounds a year. You are currently not making 15,000 pounds, but when you do get to university, you might be able to take student loans, which will give you a bit of comfort. You will eat out of the tin most of the time because once you pay for things that you need to pay for, there is very little luxury left because you are not in a period of luxury. You are still in establishment. And when you see your friends, sometimes your friends might even throw you chicken change because they feel sorry for you. They realize how broke you are and they draw attention to it. They tell you how well they are doing. They are making money. They can get new clothes. They can get new phones. They can do this. They can do that. And you can't. And it's really tempting at that point, right? Okay. Fast forward 3 years. Let's do some math. So this friend has been earning, I think on typical, if I remember, it's about 10,000 for McDonald's. 10,000 in year 1, 10,000 in year 2, 10,000 in year 3. How much has your friend earned? 30,000 in 3 years. 30-0, you haven't earned a penny yet. He still is winning. And when you finish your degree, you might decide to extend on it a little bit. But usually, once you've gone on and you've done your degree and you come to graduate level employment, typically it's between 25 and 30,000. So let's go for the base rate. The first year, you earn your 25,000. The second year, you earn your 25,000. The third year, you earn your 25,000. In 3 years of working, you have already got 75,000 pounds. At that point, you and the friend who chose not to go, the friend who chose to have instant gratification, who, assuming these two people remain on these salaries and don't change, after 3 years of working, you've already compensated for all the extra years that this person had whilst you trained. After the third year, you are beginning to make gains on this person. And if you've entered a graduate level job and you are lucky and it's a career which is progressive, you might actually be earning more on top of what you start with each year. 10 years in the workforce, when you take those two people and you put them pound for pound, you tell me who is better off. And most people will tell you the one who went and got extra education. Bang on. That is the value of delayed gratification. Whilst you are actually going through the process, it's very difficult to see the benefits. It feels like the other people are winning in comparison. It feels like people are living it better in comparison. And if you don't have this understanding, if you don't have this conviction, you will waver because you are human. You just need to understand you have chosen the route of delayed gratification. Funnily enough, with the two people I gave you in my example, from that point onwards, the one who's earning the 25,000 is going to be capable of doing certain things. It will take the other person 2.5 years to earn what he earns in a year. This person is going to have a better cash flow, and this person is going to be able to change things dramatically, quickly. The other one who is on his 10K a year is going to have to find a second job, a third job, and sometimes other things on the side. Life balance, lifestyle balance is going to tip in your favor at that point. And when I sit down with children often and have this calculation with them, and when I finish, I ask, which of the two options makes the most sense to you now? Most children will tell you, Miss, it's okay. Point made. I'm back to uni. I'm going back to college. It is not just for children. It's also for adults. You start working with a friend. You earn the same amount of money. The income is actually not too bad. You could afford a car or two. Yes, you could. You could afford to live in a flashy area. Yes, you could. But have you actually taken care of your bases? No, you haven't. The wiser person is the one who would take some of that money and buy a piece of land, or save some of the money to put down on a mortgage, or save some of the money to get extra training and enhance themselves somehow. That person is not going to be able to afford the clothing or the lifestyle of the other person who is just living it in the now. They are earning the same amount of money monthly, but they are making different choices. One person's choices is going to confine them to the now. And that person's choices is going to make the future very unpalatable, very difficult, because they've not made any investments towards this future. Am I communicating? Are we hearing each other here? I am leading this conversation towards things like pensions and asset acquisition. Whilst you are establishing and you're trying to raise money to put down on a mortgage, goodness, you are poor. Other people look at you and wonder why you're wearing the same t-shirt and you've worn it for the last 5 years, because you're busy saving. Other people will tell you how stupid you're being. Look at this colleague of yours. You do the same job, don't you? But look at this other person. He's doing so much better. No, they are making different choices, and so are you. At the end of the day, when you get to retirement age, or when something happens, when you've managed to pile up enough to start your project, when finally you are moving into the project stage and people begin to see the things you do, the rhetoric changes completely. The one who seems successful in the early days, who seemed to be enjoying, the person who lived it up, looks irresponsible because they are. The person who delayed gratification, the person who waited, the person who took time to get things organized before they started exhibiting is the person who would be able to enjoy longer on the same salary. The flash is not necessary in the early days, and you have to remind yourself that it is not a performance, that you are not living it up for anybody, that you are taking care of your own survival and future, and that's the only thing which matters. You have to remind yourself of that, because other people will make comments which will be distracting. Other people will say things which might be unpalatable to you. Other people might lead you down a path you don't want to go to, but you have to resist. You have to resist the impulse to play to the crowds. Let's go back to the 2 episodes I had mentioned with these 2 people yet again. The person who chose instant gratification will always pay the price in the long term. So usually when you get to retirement age, the person who took time to make diligent investments towards the future is the person who's going to be more comfortable when it comes retirement time. That person has got things to fall back on because they made adjustments in the early days. That person is unlikely to end up in poverty in later years because they had the wisdom to prepare in advance. The person who chose to live it big and left very little, and we see so many of these examples in our communities. We see it in our actors, we see it in public servants, we see it in people who are self-employed. It doesn't matter where you look, examples abound. There are so many people who chose to enjoy the entire amount on their paycheck every month and waited for the next. There are some people who did not understand financial security for the future. There are some people who chose to have a lavish lifestyle in the short term, and then you see them on screen begging and asking other people for help when a difficult day comes calling. That is a risk not worth taking. That is a risk not worth taking, if you ask me. What I would say to you is that it's much better for you to learn to be self-sufficient. That it's much better for you to learn delayed gratification. That it is so much better when you wait and take care of guarantees before you lash out. And in our community, if you actually rely on our community's feedback, they would always tell you, you are the fool. Amma, have you seen your friends? Amma, have you seen such a body? Amma, have you seen such a body scar? Amma, have you seen the schools his kids attend? Amma, have you seen? And you will have to remind yourself, yes, I have seen. Yes, my children are in a decent school right now, and that's more important to me. Yes, I can see his car, but mine also moves and it's fine. Yes, I can see his car, but for me, a car is not a priority right now. Yes, I can see all those things which suggest that he's more successful than I am, and that's okay. He has his life plan, and so do I. Much better that I stick to my life plan and I don't change my plan because of somebody else. It's okay. In the end, each one would be, it depends. Each one of us will be exonerated depending on the choices we make. But what my mom says, what crystallized the choices for me as a young girl, is what I want to share with you today. You have these two episodes and you get to decide which order you will have them in. Whichever one you choose first is short-lived. Whichever one you choose first is short-lived. Whatever you choose subsequent is the longer episode, so choose wisely. The period of enjoyment initially will be followed by a lean season where you really do suffer because you've not taken care of basics. When you have to take the second, the third, the fourth job and worry about money every single day of every single month, that period is so long in comparison to that short episode whilst you worked and enjoyed and got the new phones and you got the new cars and you got the new everything. Be clear that the episode you choose first is always the short-lived one. It is much better to put the lean season first and establish. It is much better to put the lean season first and to save and to prepare so that the future is more secure. When you learn to make investments early on in life, as you age, life becomes comfortable. You don't become apprehensive because you have something to rely on. So there are many people my age, for example, who would now suddenly realize, oh shoot, we need a pension. When shoot, you need a pension at my age, there's actually not a long time to put money in the kitty. So your pension premiums are going to be very high. Your pension premiums are really going to bite. Your pension premiums are going to make life uncomfortable for you because the time you have left to put money in a pension is actually very, very small. The other compatriot who had the common sense to start a pension at 25 would have paid a small premium on a monthly basis because they had 25, 35 years in service under that plan to put money aside. A little bit over a long time still adds up to a decent amount, and a lot over a short time bites a lot. It's very difficult. So I've had conversations with friends who are my age who've taken private pensions at this point, and they cry and lament every month because the payments are steep. Those people had more disposable income in their youth. Those people enjoyed more in their youth. But at this point, when you reflect on what you did in your youth, you actually don't remember. What you know is the difficulty you face right now. Difference between them and people like me who chose to do the early pensions is that we did it a little bit at a time, a bit at the time, but it didn't bite that much. People who chose to have assets and investments when they were younger, as they age, become less likely to take on additional responsibilities their bodies can't cope with. Those people can take it easier. Those people can relax a little bit more. And that's the reason why it's advisable and it's encouraged that whilst you are young and whilst you have the energy, whilst you have the strength, you decide to invest at that time. Trying to invest in your old age is a very painful experience. Trying to build, like most people did 5 years before the pension, is where people realize, oh shoot, I need somewhere to live. Trying to scramble and put something together in your 50s, late 50s, is a very painful exercise. I've seen it happen to so many good people. And I know that it's unpleasant. I know how I feel right now, so I can't even imagine me having to take a second job, a third job, just so I can take care of where to live when I am in my pension years. I cannot imagine part of my pension payments going into rent. I can't. It is too difficult for me to imagine. And for that reason, it's then because it falls back on me to make the choices so that when I get to my pension years, it would not be necessary for me to worry. It will not be necessary for me to pay rent out of the little pensions I get. That the choices and decisions I made early on means that I do have accommodation which is rent-free. And that's why a lot of people build. So that in your twilight years, you do not worry about everything else, including where to live, because that is a very expensive thing out of your pension. That in your twilight years, you have multiple streams of income, and that's where I am going. Many of us, when we decide to work, only focus on the one career because it's comfortable. We go from 9 and we come at 5 and we are so tired, we don't want to look at anything else, but you are still young and you have energy. You come back and there is a little bit left in the tank, and if only you realize that an investment of this in the early days will save you a lot of hassle in your latter years, you probably would have made that choice to invest some of that time off social media, looking at other things that will bring money. The principle of multiple income streams is a principle which is alien to the black man. Typically, I'm looking at averages. Some of us do know it. So I made an announcement yesterday or recently that I was involved with Juice Plus, and I got this message from a viewer, somebody who watches me. Amma, you like money too much. I'm like, what do you mean? I've seen that you do work. I'm like, yes, I do work. And then you have the business and you make these souvenirs. I'm like, yes, I do. So why are you doing Juice Plus as well? Like, let me explain the principle of multiple streams to you. The number of hours I will have to put in if I only did one job in order to get overtime. Well, in my job, there is no overtime anyway. But even if you were a nurse or something with overtime possibilities, the extra hours you will have to put in your main income to be able to get extra money the way you need it would be a lot. And taxation, once you've gone beyond a certain number of hours, is going to actually make it senseless putting those hours in. In order to make it worth your while, you probably need to look at a second job, which is what most people do. You take a second job. And again, depending on where you live and the way taxation works, even on your second job, you will be taxed heavily. What is better is that you learn to work outside the home and you find Clementia, hi, it's good to see you. That you learn to find, so that woman Clementia, that is an icon of mine. That woman is so inspirational, and I'll explain to you why she inspires me so. One of the reasons why Clementia and people like her inspire me is the fact that they understand that you have fingers, you have hands, and they should do stuff as well. Yes, you've been to school. Yes, you have an education. Yes, you may have a career, but there might be other skills you have that could also bring you a second income. So for me, my souvenir business is my second income. But 2 streams of income, as lovely as that sounds, is not enough to alleviate my poverty because I am incredibly poor. And then I look at my poverty in the immediate and I worry about my poverty in my twilight years. If I'm poor now, whilst I have energy, God Almighty help me when I am old. And because I know this and because I understand this, I've decided to look at multiple streams of income. So let me explain the principle of multiple streams. If I had a job and that job paid me 20,000 a year, it's very good, but not enough. If I found a little side business where I designed things or I sold things and it also only gave me 2,000 a year because it's only a small venture. If I found a way of making my social media presence work for me and I did a bit of affiliate marketing and that also gave me 2,000 a year. But I also heard that Clementia is looking for investors. And I managed to put some investment in for Clementia. And she pays me 500 in profit for the year. Interest payments. And I found a company like Juice Plus. Really, when you look at some of the compensations, I'm one of those people who is still skeptical about some of the monies people are calling out in bonuses, I've got to say. But let me tell you, there's a young lady who was telling me that she has only just started and she got 400 euros just before Christmas. I'm like, that could be life transformational. 400 on top of what you get. Just for referring to people, just for telling people about products, just for helping people find ways. Look at me carefully. Those of you who keep asking, Amma, are you transforming? I think just a look at my face tells you that I am on a successful transformation. My body is definitely quickly augmenting. You can tell it from just one look, one peek at my face, and it does work. So I tell people what I did. I did it not necessarily to make money. I did it for my health, but it has worked for me. I am very happy with the results. So if all I do is tell you about what I did to change, and that brings me 400 euros in the first case, 800 euros, 1,200, 2,400, 4,800 I heard. I think that's the highest I've heard so far, but I think there is a little bit more that people can also make. If I, from just telling you about what I did and directing you towards where I got the products from, I don't need to buy the products. I don't need to stock anything. I don't need to invest anything. All I invested is 50 quid. 50 quid to register. And I continued talking to you about it. And people began to see the changes in Amma. And people wanted Amma. I could actually do many things with what I've done to my body. I could do the affiliate marketing, which is the first thing I'm looking at. So say I go down Juice Plus. I don't become successful. They only pay me 1,200 because I want to climb to the middle part of that. I will give it an effort. So I have one which is bringing 20,000, my main one. I have one which is bringing 2,000, another bringing 2,000, another bringing 500, another bringing 1,002. If I found a way of representing something else or supporting other people or selling something else, affiliate marketing, which brought me another 500. Do you understand that each of these little pots, I know it's only 500 when you look at it, but 500 plus 2,000 plus 500 plus 1,002 plus all these other things adds up to a very comfortable total income. That is the principle of multiple streams of income. It is the difference between people who just break even and the people who are able to tip it towards being successful financially. It is the difference between people maximizing the time they have available and people simply sitting and wasting time. Social media is a very powerful tool for people who understand it. Social media is making a lot of people a lot of money. but it's only for those who understand. The number of hours you spend on social media should work for you. It really should. It should work for you in terms of watching things and learning. And when you've watched things and learned, the sensible thing is to apply it and improve your own life. Do you understand how people establish multiple streams of income? Some of those streams of income might have something to do with your professional training and qualification. That's fine. Others might have something to do with your latent talents and your hobbies. Some might just be from your network and your connections. Some might use your skills and knowledge. And if you are able to make money out of all these avenues, it adds up together and it makes you more comfortable than you would have been just on your knowledge and skills. It helps you to maximize what would be your burn time and convert burn time into reasonable time, time that brings you tangible results. I have so many accounts on Facebook that I have watched and I have learned from, and you look at those people and you're like, wow, how sensible, wow, how skillful are you, wow, you understood this quite early on. So let me ask you a direct question, and there is no need to type an answer, absolutely no need. But let me ask you, so you ponder on it, so you consider. I don't know what's happened to this app. So if you are typing comments somewhere, please understand that I can't see comments. I can see that you are there, I can see your presence, but that's about it. Apart from, yeah, I've opened another place and I can only see 2 comments. So I am assuming there's only been 2 comments. If there's any other comments, you will have to forgive me. I am not addressing them. I am not responding to them. Not because I don't want to, but because I genuinely cannot see them. But I'm asking you a simple question. You don't need to type this publicly. I just want you to ponder on it. Where do you get your income from? Is your income just from one stream? Is that income adequate? Is it enough? Even if it makes you comfortable. If you had a secondary income, if you had a latent income, if you had something that made you money with very little effort, could that improve your life somewhat? What could you actually harp on? That could be your second income source. Are you well connected? Do you have latent skills? Can you produce stuff? Can you sell other people's stuff? Can you recommend other people's businesses? Can you represent other people's brands? What can you do that could give you the second stream? And when you've got the second stream, that's still not multiple. That's just a second stream of income. When you have 3, 4, 5 and more, then you have hit multiple income streams. When you make money without even knowing, when money rolls into your account, when you've set things up and you are able to step back and watch results flow in, then you have really understood this principle of multiple streams of income. Do you need to learn from somebody skilled so that they draw your attention to the opportunities abound, because there's plenty of opportunities now? They don't all have to do with your knowledge. They don't all have to do with your skills. Sometimes it is just being smart to tap into an avenue. Sometimes you do have many friends on social media anyway. Just a simple recommendation. That's all you need to do. Sometimes it might be you trying something, or you simply saying that I have seen this product and I'm going to try it. And your network might go off and do it. And we do them anyway. We do recommend freely for brands. A lot of you post things on your social media. You like things, you follow things, you recommend things, but you do not get a dime. You do not make a penny from it. Please bear with me. Wow. It is a topic I want to discuss. Adra, good morning. Good morning. Okay, I think it just might be that there isn't a lot of people commenting, but I can see people on. I only see one person join every now and again, and that's it. I am asking you a simple question. Please answer this question for me. You may do so privately. No need to put it out in public space. But who are you? What skills do you have? Which of those skills is currently working for you? Which of those skills is currently getting wasted? Do you have a good network? Are you well connected? Do you have many friends? Do you know that the number of friends you have could also establish a multiple stream for you? That your friends could look at your recommendations. Your friends are going to go on a hotel break anyway. Good morning, sis. Your friends will stay in a hotel, and so your recommendation to a friend could make you some money. They would stay in a hotel anyway. You being smart to affiliate will help you make money off what your friends would have done anyway. Before you share things to your social media, before you are quick to recommend brands, especially the huge brands, a lot of you put things out for Nike, Emirates Airlines, blah, blah, blah. Do you know that those airlines pay other people for affiliate marketing? Why is it on your social media page when you have absolutely no connection to this company? Why are you making free recommendations, advertising for people for free, especially on big corporates? Doing a friend a favor and advertising a friend's business is a different thing. But putting things out on well-established brands, the ones who have budgets for advertising, for affiliate marketing, the ones who pay other people to recommend them to their network, and you've put it freely on your social media handle. Do you understand the implication, the wasted opportunity that is? Do you understand? Or are you hearing it for the first time? If you are one of those people hearing it for the first time, I recommend that after this video, you go to Google and you type in affiliate marketing. Go sit down and read about it. It is very difficult to establish if you don't understand. So go read about it, learn about it, and then look in your network and ask yourself, where could I benefit? You go to church, you belong to every social club. You could talk to the people in your social club. You could point them in the direction of things that they could use anyway, things that will help them. Like what I'm doing with the Juice Plus, it's really helped me. And because it's helped me, I know that if I recommend it to a friend, it will help them. And if it helps me, helps a friend, and puts a penny in my pocket, I am in. I am in. I would take that anytime, any day. If I'm going to help you make a hotel booking and it will make me a penny or two, I'm in. I'm in any day, any day. If I'm going to do something which will bring me extra layer of income on top of what I normally have, I am in. I am in any day. So my year 2020 would be my year of multiple streams of income. And I've said this many times on record. The reason why I feel it could be a year of multiple streams of income is because I am spending the latter months of 2019 establishing. I am spending the latter months of 2019 researching. I am learning and I'm hoping to understand. And once I understand, on the 1st of January, like I always do, it is all guns blazing. I know you are preparing for your New Year resolutions. My question is, have you started planning for those New Year resolutions? Do you know what it would take to get where you dream of getting? Do you understand that there is systems that you need to put in place before you can even dream and think of some of these things? You want to change your finances, right? I've given you a free guidance on things that could change your finances. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. It's about taking more opportunities. It's about wasting less opportunities that come your way. That is what really transforms finances. So as I've said here, changing and transforming your finances is all to do with choices that you are accountable for. Things that you allow to go and things that you take advantage of are the ones which determine your success. So my question is, now that you know, what will you do about it? Will you sit and blame somebody else? Or will you grab the bull by the horns and change your life with it? I know which one I'm going to choose. And I hope that you are also making the better choice. Be thou transformed mentally, so that it would reflect physically in your life and in the lives of the people around you. Thank you so much for joining. I hope the broadcast was useful. It was a little bit odd because usually I see your comments and I respond to them. If you've made comments, hopefully I will see them in retrospect, and if I can, I will respond. Otherwise, please inbox me and I will try my very hardest to get back to you. I am not going to be able to tell you every possibility in your life. My job is to stimulate your thoughts. And now that I've stimulated your thoughts, it's up to you to carry on with some research, to go find out some things in the hope that you can transform your own life for yours and the ones who love you. Thank you.